so excited. We get to start with the derivative. You guys should be so excited about this. So we finished up with our limits, but we're going to take that limit concept, and that's going to get us started with our derivative. All right, so we're going to do in 3-1 and 3-2. They basically are connected to each other. They're very, very similar. All right, so let's get started with this concept here. Step 1. We already talked about secant slopes and tangent slopes, right? That's what we're going to work with here. So if I'm looking at this slope and I want to bring in here to this value P, I'm going to take Q and I'm going to work it in, right? All the way to that value. I have all of these secant slopes and I'm taking it all the way to red here, which is my tangent slope. That's our goal. Okay, so generically, this is my slope of my tangent down here, which tells me that I have this point right here, A, F of A. Right, here's my point A, F of A. And I'm saying, okay, I'm coming out here to A plus H, some value H, to come out here so that I can start to work my way in. So what I'm doing is I'm finding the limit as H, the distance that gets to this next point, as H approaches 0, because it's where I start from. So H is going to go all the way down to 0 so that the distance is no more. Do you see what I'm getting at? So if I'm actually looking at this, I have 2 points. I have this point right here, which is A plus H and F of A plus H, right? And I have this point right here, which is A, F of A. So if I want to find the slope of those lines, so my slope, let me come right here. My slope is going to be F of A plus H minus my other Y value, which is F of A, all over A plus H minus that A. And so what's happening here is positive A and negative A is where I just get that H down at the bottom. Okay, so it's literally just a slope, right? The slope of my tangent line is this value. The limit as H approaches 0, that distance to get out to whatever point it is. That's why we give it a generic H. And then you bring it in. All right? The slope of your tangent line, this is a big deal. Get ready. It's coming at you. The slope of your tangent line is the derivative. Ta-da! That's a derivative. And I want you to learn that and love it. Learn it, love it, enjoy it. Learn it and love it. Learn it and love it. The slope of the tangent line, anytime from here on out, you want to find a slope of a tangent line, bam, automatic. That's a derivative. All right? So, right now, let me squeeze this in. Well, let me make it bigger up here. The derivative of the function at a point is, have you seen this before? Yeah, you have. That is our difference quotient. So, back when we learned the difference quotient, we just had to say, oh, okay, I know I can't have an H in the bottom, so I have to algebraically manipulate this to get that H out of the bottom. Welcome to the reason why, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is because when you take the limit and H approaches 0 with all that limits that we just did and talked about, you know that you cannot have that 0 in the denominator. Yeah, so we got to work it over. And that is why back when we worked on the difference quotient, and you have in your previous classes, that is why. Okay? Cool. Oh, you guys are doing derivatives. Oh, you should be so happy. I know I am. Okay, let's talk about notation then. Notation in math is a whopper huge big deal, right? Always has been, always will be. So, notation. That's supposed to be a colon. Notation. If I have f prime of x is how you say that. F prime of x is equal to y prime is equal to dy dx. All of that is derivative notation. Derivative notation. You have to write your notation. All right? It's not the operation like what your limit was that I kept hounding you about, but you have to write derivative notation. This is how I know. Well, I transformed something, but what did I come up with? Oh, you came up with the derivative. So you have to write the notation to show that. Notation is a big deal in math. We're writing it. Notation is a big deal in math. Use it correctly. Use it correctly. I'm going to be on you about this notation because it is a big deal. You got to know how to do your notation. Okay? All right. Awesome. I'm so excited to get started with this. All right, we'll get started with some examples here in just a minute.